Hello, BookTube. Got a little MegaStuff video for you on this Wednesday. A bunch of little things that wouldn't make a video on their own, but that will do as components in a gumbo. And we can start with, I'm not going to start with a tech update because my tech up yesterday was really kind of a conclusion to that little thread of MegaStuff updates. I mentioned yesterday that I had been looking for a long time for so-called one machine to rule them all. One machine that I could love and live on, read on, download books on, watch video on, record videos on, work, type on. And this iPad with a smart keyboard really is turning out to be that machine. So I don't have a tech update for you. I do have a Mailboy update for you. In earlier MegaStuff videos, I mentioned that I have a new mailman who replaced my shattered, battered, shambling old 1,000-year-old mailman that I'd had for a long time. And this new mailman is a boy. He's in his very, very early 20s at latest. And he's tall and gorgeous and outgoing and very friendly. And who noticed that I get a lot of books here. So we started, briefly when we would pass each other, we would talk about books when we weren't talking about Frida because Frida loves him. He finally said, well, I want to read. I want to get back into reading. So just tell me what I should read. Make recommendations to me. I'll put myself in your hands. So I did. I made him 3 recommendations, and one of them was The Killer Angels by Michael Shara. Michael Shara's great novel of the Battle of Gettysburg, which I've been recommending people since forever, since it came out. And telling them, even if you don't think you like historical fiction, and even if you don't think you like books about the American Civil War, I understand that those would be natural cautions, and I want you to ignore them because they don't matter, not when it comes to this book. They would matter with a whole bunch of other historical novels set in the American Civil War, but not this one. Fortunately, this kid, my mailboy, didn't have any problems like that because his family has a couple of Civil War history buffs in it, who were overjoyed when he told them, yeah, this guy on my route recommended The Killer Angels. He read it. That's your update. He read it and loved it. So my record with The Killer Angels is still unsullied. He read it and loved it and wanted to know more about the Battle of Gettysburg. He didn't. I was kind of hoping, I was expecting that his reaction to getting a novel from me and really liking it would be, well, I guess I'll read the other 2 novels that you recommended. He would like those as well, but he went in a different direction. Probably understandable given the history buffs in his family. He wants to know more about the Battle of Gettysburg. And I said, well, you understand that most historians forget that it's their duty as well as the duty of any novelist to tell a good story. Most of them forget that. So it might be more of an uphill climb for him. He said he was totally up for it. So I gave him the copy of They Met at Gettysburg by Stackpole that I found in Vermont just this weekend. There's no better way to start. There's no better, more readable place to start. So I gave him that, and he did the usual. He did the usual stuff that so many of you have done over the years, of hemming and hawing and saying, "Oh no, I really couldn't," or "What do I owe you?" or something like that. I love giving people books. I love it. You don't owe me anything. You don't. There's no recompense required whatsoever. I love doing it, especially when obviously, I mean, the fates put that in my hands so that I could hand it off to somebody. It's great that it was him and that it happened so soon. So we'll see. We'll see how actual history strikes him. But I also wanted to give you a tiny bit of an update on reading. Not a full slate, but just some reading, including one piece of reading that I have sunk into in the last day. That is totally predictable, just totally predictable, and that's Cordwainer Smith, the best of Cordwainer Smith. I found this old Del Rey paperback, and couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Cordwainer Smith is a great science fiction author. He wrote one of the great science fiction short stories of all time, "Scanners Live in Vain." He also wrote one of the top 50 great science fiction novels in Australia, but all the short stories in here, "The Dead Lady of Clowntown," Mother Hitten's Little Kittens. All of these are fantastic. They're all just incredible. And I have just sunk myself back in these stories. I shouldn't do it. But I did. I'm going to put this away now. I'm not going to read the whole of the volume, but I did give it a little workout. I wanted to mention it again for you. And also a newer book that I read and really liked. This is IRL by Chris Stedman, which it's about finding meaning in online life. In other words, a kind of mediated into middle road between being what social media commentators refer to as extremely online, and Cal Newport's digital minimalism, where you go offline almost completely except for dire necessities. This is sort of a middle ground of that. It is designed to encourage you to use your tools instead of letting your tools use you. And I was already on board for a message like that and was just interested in how the author writes it, how he phrases it. And I was caught off guard by some of the things that this book does. This is more autobiographical, first of all, than I expected it to be. And that's probably inevitable. But I nevertheless, the author was born in 1987. And I'm kind of the opinion that people who were born basically in the 90s aren't going to grow up able to write anything other than autobiography. It's just a question of how they're going to use it. I'm not dismissing it. There'll be great ways to use it. But I wasn't expecting the autobiographical element here. And there's also another element that's really strong in this book. It's a terrific book. I strongly recommend it. I hope to write a review of it. But another element that ran through it that really struck me was a kind of almost classical humanism that I just loved. Absolutely loved. So I'm not 100% sure that Stedman says anything explicitly new in this book. If you've read books like this, ranging all the way from digital minimalism all the way, all the other books about navigating online life, you will probably be familiar with a lot of these points, but this is still immensely worth your time for the way the author does it. I just finished it, so it was on my mind. I thought I'd stick it in a MegaStuff video. And we also have mail. We have a great big box, which I'm assuming is a bunch of things, a bunch of titles, because I don't think there's any big book that's coming to me. I know of, but I thought we'd go through it and see. There's no law that says MegaStuff videos have to be long. And this isn't rattling around, so it may not be multiple books. It may be one big book that I'm just not anticipating. What have we got here? Oh, the baby's interested. What is this? Oh. Oh. Oh my. Okay, this is just one book. Oh my. Oh, how incredibly beautiful. Oh, okay. Wow. All right. I didn't expect this to be so lovely. This is J.R.R. Tolkien. This is from Houghton Mifflin, and this is the new illustrated version of the Unfinished Tales. And you have the letters in gold on the cover there. This has artwork by Alan Lee, of course, who's illustrated all of Tolkien, John Howe, and Ted Nasmith. We've got a dark rider on the back there. And this is the Unfinished Tales. Oh my! They got the cloth bookmark there, and you have the map end papers. Well, let me show you an illustration. Oh my! What have we got to show here? Here is Shores of Numenor there. That's not Alan Lee. That's somebody else. Here's Alan Lee. More Shores of Numenor, probably. There are also black and white spot illustrations. Let me get you one of those as well. So this is just gloriously illustrated. How wonderful! Oh my! Look at that. That's got to be the destruction of Numenor. The destruction of. Oh, how beautiful! See the figures in the foreground there, making their way. Incredible. Okay. Wow. So this is, I don't have a pub sheet for it, so I don't know when this version comes out. Of course, the Unfinished Tales has been out for a long time. There have been mass market paperbacks of this and hardcovers of it. I don't have a copy of it. I have an e-copy of it, but I don't have any of the print copies that I've had over the years of the Unfinished Tales. So now I have the one that I would want. Let me read you from the jacket, since I don't have a pub sheet. Unfinished Tales is a collection of narratives ranging in time from the elder days of Middle-earth through the Second Age and the rise of Sauron to the end of the War of the Ring, which further relate events as told in the Silmarillion and the Lord of the Rings. The book concentrates on the lands of Middle-earth and comprises such elements as Gandalf's lively account of how it was that he came to send dwarves to a celebrated party at Bag End, the emergence of the sea god Olmo before the eyes of Tuor on the coast of Beleriand, an exact description of the military organization of the Riders of Rohan and the journey of the Black Riders during the hunt for the ring. That's what you get there. That's a Black Rider looming over Hobbiton. Unfinished Tales also contains the only surviving story about the long ages of Numenor before its downfall, and all that is known about the 5 wizards, the Palantiri, and the legends of Amroth. The collection is edited by Christopher Tolkien, who provides a commentary on each of the tales. He has also redrawn his original map accompanying The Lord of the Rings with addition of new features and names, reproduces the only map of Numenor that J.R.R. Tolkien ever made. To commemorate the 40th anniversary, oh, here you go. So it's the 40th anniversary. That's why we're getting this. To commemorate the 40th anniversary of its first publication, this illustrated edition features 18 full-color paintings by John Howe, Alan Lee, and Ted Nasmith. It presents anew Christopher Tolkien's pivotal step towards mapping out the posthumous publishing of the Middle-earth and the beginning of an illustrious 40-year and more than 22 books devoted to celebrating his father's legacy. Oh my. All right, well, this is dangerous. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Glaurung, Lord of Dragons, the first worm. Oh my. Well, this is enormously tempting. This is not the kind of temptation I was looking for, because I've got other stuff to do. I guess it's a new book. It's a new edition. It's gorgeous. So out with Cordwainer Smith, in with J.R.R. Tolkien. It doesn't matter. I am going to pour over this. I will put this right at the front of the list. Fantastic. It's probably an October release sometime. So the 40th anniversary illustrated edition of the Unfinished Tales of Tolkien. Incredible. Incredible. So there you have it. That is your MegaStuff video for today. Couldn't make me any happier. So I'm gonna wrap this up and take the bean for a walk to wake her up, and then dig into some Tolkien. There's no better way to spend the afternoon. So I'll wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.